Merhaba arkadaşlar. ATEK Yurtdışı Eğitim Danışmanlık tarafından organize edilen Akademik Yaz Okulları partnerimiz Oxford Royale Academy adına bugün Danial Roberts misafirimiz. Webinar esnasında sorularınızı lütfen chat box'tan yazın. Sunum sonrasında isteyenler birebir görüşme de yapabilirler. Sunum İngilizce olacak. Şimdiden iyi seyirler. Your turn, Daniel.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and it's lovely to be able to talk to you all from afar. So I'm currently based in just outside of Oxford, actually. So it's about half an hour's drive from the centre of Oxford, and it is currently very cold, in fact, here in the UK. Surprisingly cold for April, but we make do. And we are pleased in the UK that things are gradually moving out of lockdown and everything. So we're very excited to be able to have a great summer, and we're gearing up for what should be a really good summer program, both online and residential. So I'll talk to you a little bit about these programs today. So it's as I say, it's great to be able to see you. I'm sure that in other years we would be there in person and meeting you all in person, and one day that will be happening again. So the purpose of today is for me to just go through and talk to you about some of the programs that we offer, why we offer them, what it is we're hoping to achieve, and what we want to give to you as students. And then there'll be a short video clip and a chance also for questions at the end to talk through anything. So I'll just tell you a bit about really us and why we started. So we started about 16 years ago by two brothers, in fact, who graduated from Oxford, and they decided to set up a summer program with a real belief that they want to give students a passion for travel and learning. So that the aim here is just to do something bigger than just a summer program, right? Do something that's more inspirational, that is not just students come for a bit of travel or a bit of fun, and they actually go home changed in some way or other, that they go home really able to build on what they've learnt over here in the UK or online. And so, as I say on this slide is to say, oh, hang on, I've just moved a slide. There you go. Should you see it now? We just want to do our bit for nurturing a kind, intelligent, and well-rounded generation. And for students, parents, and partners to be in safe hands. So all of our people who we are with, and to be looked after. But you see, it's the main thing is there that we want to do something for students which is bigger than just a summer school. We have students that go home really having changed. We've had parents get in touch with us after our summer programs and say, what have you done with my child? They're a different person, and the reasons for that are varied. But one of the reasons is because we have a very diverse student body, and meeting, debating and discussing ideas and being challenged in your own views does something to you, and it is inspiring, and you learn something about the world around you. And I think there's something that's going beyond just the school you're at and the city you live in, but meeting others from across the world. There's nothing quite like that. And we live in a wonderful age now where you can travel. And then even if you can't travel, like at the moment where you can go on a plane, you can still meet people from all over the world. I think it's what a remarkable sort of technology we have, where I can be sat here in the United Kingdom talking to you fine people in Turkey, and being able to understand and converse, which is just a remarkable thing, and it does something to people when we get a chance to meet others from across the world. We offer relevant subjects, something that actually is, we're always keeping our subjects up to date. So we have a team of people that look after the programs and make sure they're always relevant and up to date and interesting. It might not be a subject that you want to do at university. It might be a subject that just interests you, or you want to do a subject that you are prepared to do at university and you want to get more experience in how to apply for it. There's a whole range of things we offer, and I'll touch on those a bit later. Inspirational teachers, where I often say to people, you say, well, who are your teachers and where do they come from? And I say, well, we have two criteria when recruiting our teachers. One is that they have to know their subject, but the second thing is they have to be able to teach, and they have to be able to be inspiring. I'm sure we've all had teachers at school before which are maybe very, very intelligent, but not that inspiring. Now, we aim to have inspiring teachers, people who are able to impart their knowledge and really build up a passion for the subject. I remember once I went into I was taking some friends around to see our programs and showing off some of the courses in Oxford, and I took them to the School of Government in Oxford, and there was a debate going on, a politics debate, all about the different models of democracy. For those of you that study politics, there are 4 main models of democracy, and so there's various different types. Democracy isn't just one simple thing, and they were debating which model has its best merits. And there was about 6 or 7 different nationalities in this room of 10 to 15 students. And then there was this teacher who was so lively and so passionate and so knowledgeable, who was guiding this debate and asking questions, and could really see the thread of this debate that was going on between these people from different backgrounds. And it was just a wonderful thing to see. And you could see how these students who had never had an engaged conversation quite like this before were really lifting and thriving on this challenge. So the inspirational teachers is essential. Of course, there are eye-opening excursions, and I'll tell you a bit more about that. And then also focusing on just preparing you for the next stage of your academic journey, wherever that may be. So just touch on those a little bit more then. We've got so yes, a lovely quote, just to kind of reiterate what I was saying, where the year after year, this kind of people are being pulled back and coming to ORA time and time again. And that just, it's lovely when we get students, we see the journey, we see them grow up, and every year they come and they're a little bit older and know a little bit more, and they study new subjects. We do get students that come quite often, and that's always really good. So as I say, 170 nationalities represented. So going back to this point about the diverse students, it is important for us to have students from all over the world. We focus on this, and we try to make sure that we have students from all over the world. It's vital. So here's a map of the students that joined us in 2019. So it's when we last had the summer programs, and you can really see there that there's barely a country that's untouched by the people that come and join us. So it's amazing really to see people from just across the world with different backgrounds and different beliefs. Here are some of the courses that we offer. So that I said about the inspiring courses and making sure they're relevant. I'll talk to you a little bit more about each of these. Well, not each of them, but just some of the key ones really here. So this is just a list of some of them. This isn't all of them. This is just some of the most popular ones. There are 3 main types of course. So you've got English courses in there. So like IELTS preparation and just studying English. So the English preparation courses, for those of you that want to learn more English, improve your English, or perhaps prepare for IELTS, which is the main exam when you apply to university. You need to have a certain IELTS score that will be that will get you into university. So perhaps you need to prepare for that. The second type are preparation courses, as I call them, and they're courses which are single subject. So you would choose something like, so it might be a business course, or it could be some kind of marketing course or medical research. So most popular, in fact, is medicine and engineering and architecture. Those are probably the most popular courses for the preparation ones, and law as well, where you study that one subject. You probably haven't done it before at school, and so you want to now expand on that and learn a bit more about it ready for university. With those preparation subjects, we'll give you talks about applying to that subject at university. So how to write the personal statement, what kind of experience you might need, and really getting familiar with the application process to universities, both in the UK and also the US, are our main focus there. And the third type of course are these blended courses. So these ones are, so we've got these broadening horizons or new perspectives, depending on your age. And these programs where you can choose two subjects, 2 academic subjects, and then a workshop. And these are brilliant for students that perhaps are not quite sure what you want to do at university, or you are sure, but you feel like you just want to expand your horizons a bit more and get a bit more knowledge. You could choose any 2 of those academic subjects on that first 2 columns, and then the skills-based workshop, which is to expand your CV and expand your personal statement and give you something that's really, really useful. So, for example, you could choose something as varied there as astronomy with forensic science. Two very, very different courses, and then you would choose your workshop. Now, I was previously an admissions tutor at a university in London. And I would look through many, many different applications to university. I'd read through personal statements and look through the experience. And the thing that always really stood out was not just wasn't the students that had just told me what academic subjects they were doing and just kind of listed the subjects that they would study at school, but there was an element in the students where they had gained these additional skills, and you could see it in whatever they had done. It could be that they had done some work experience, or they had gone and done some voluntary work, or traveling, or whatever it might be. But these are the skills that sometimes it can be quite hard to get, but they really do make a personal statement stand out. So academic writing is great if you want to just learn how to. You might not be aware, but when you go to university, there is a style of writing. There is a way you write. There is a way you present your arguments, and learning how to do that is essential. Acting and performance, which is not just all about just the drama, but also looking at actually getting yourself your confidence levels up and being able to perform on a stage or in front of people, which is I don't know if those of you that have done any kind of drama. I used to do drama at school, and it does help with presenting. It helps in all array of different areas of life as well. Business challenge, where we'll actually give you how to do give you a business that you have to kind of start and pitch your ideas, and then present it and try and get and so there's and start that process of starting a business. So you've got to work with a team of people on starting the process of creating a business and pitching it. Global issues, where we look at current issues around the world and debating those and how to debate them as well. So just getting away from perhaps some of the more fiery language we see on social media, and actually really getting down to the nitty gritty and learning how to debate global issues. So then it's just skipping through some of these. You got things like graphic design and how to actually produce some of the design work on paper that's necessary, and looking at CAD and CAM and things like that. Leadership and team building, really good for those that want to go into business or look at become a leader in business, which isn't just about being a leader, but actually team building and working with a team and learning about a team and actually how to get the best out of a team. These are skills you just might not get when you're at school. I mean, they really are incredibly valuable things there. So people management, project management, public speaking as well. I don't know if you know, but Oxford University has a very, very well-renowned public speaking and debating competition society. Debating is not just where you have an argument with your friends, but we're talking about academic debating, proper debating, where there's rules to it. There's certain timings that you have to adhere to, and there's certain rules, and you would have for and against an argument, a motion, and learning how to do that is what makes great lawyers often, great barristers, great politicians have often done the sort of art of debating. So we'll teach you some things about that. So lots in there to choose from on some of the some of the skills along with your academic subjects. I just want to talk a bit about the experience. I will talk about online coming up, but I'm just starting with the residential programs, which are obviously great for this year if you can travel, or next year, of course, if you can't travel this year. But we do make sure that you get the very best places. Now, there are other summer schools in the UK that run, and I have some of these buildings. But the thing I say is that what we do is make sure we get the best summer programs and the best colleges, and also we use the buildings that are available to us. So that top left picture there is a group of students in the Sheldonian Theatre, which is where Oxford University students graduate, where they have their graduation ceremony. And so we have debates in there, keynote speakers, all sorts of things, and we use that hall to our advantage. So there's something about sitting in that environment where you know that this history of great minds have graduated in this building and been celebrated. To sit there and be imparted knowledge is just inspiring in its own way. Dining in these halls, actually sitting, you probably see elements of Harry Potter style dining going on there with the long tables and things. But this is what Oxford and Cambridge University students get, and they come down for breakfast and have their lunch and their dinner in these great halls. And sitting on these long tables does something. There's something about where you are surrounded by your peers and you get that chance to really sit and discuss and debate and think about things. And you find that students often move around and talk to different people each dinner and things. It's an amazing place to be. And just surrounded in a building which is, some of these buildings like Balliol is 900 years old. It's just what a place to spend your time. So we do have inspirational environments, and I do mean it that they're inspirational. I know it can sound strange when I say just a simple classroom is inspirational, but when it's 900 years old, and you think about the works that have been done in these rooms, and the discoveries and everything else. It's just an amazing place to be. And I think for me, it does something when you're surrounded by that. I find it might be when you go traveling, you might have this, that sometimes just being immersed in such history and such culture does something to you, that you just feel like you're this small part of something much, much bigger. So what an experience to get. So if you can come to the residential program, obviously please do. Then there's the enrichment outside the classroom. Very important. We do keep people very busy. We don't you do have free time, but most of it is taken up with sporting activities. There's lots of opportunities for sports, and going on other excursions. So for example, we take students to London, we'll take students to go to the theatre. We go out to places just in Oxford as well, so you'll get a chance to go to, whether it's just to the cinema or to go and play some sports, or it might be go to the theatre again in Oxford. But there's loads of things to do. So we have a team of people, not just the teachers, but we have a whole team of counsellors who will look after you and make sure that you get the very, very best experience. So one of the things is that they'll get all the students to one side and say, right, what is it you want to do while you're here in the UK? So there'll be certain activities that are already planned, like going to London, for example. But there'll be other activities that students say, I really want to go to this museum or go to the theatre. I've heard there's this show on, or whatever it might be, or we want to play some sport. So all sorts of things. That middle photo there is somebody punting. So it's a very famous and very relaxing activity to do in Oxford, where you punt down the river in Oxford on a summer's day. There's nothing quite like it. So we'll obviously have plenty of chance to do that. So keeping yourself busy, and obviously finally celebrating your achievements. So making sure that at the very end of your 2 weeks with us, you have a celebration of your time, and that's through both a graduation, your own graduation ceremony, and also a big party, which is fairly essential and becomes a rather staple of the ORA experience. So yes, I think there's some key. I'm sorry, my computer's just frozen. So one of the key things we do is prepare you for your next stage of your career, and one of the things there is, we don't just have the stuff I was talking about with the workshops, but outside of the classroom activity, there's also a whole host of other things that we'll do. So we will put on debates. So we'll get some keynote speakers talk about their career and their life, and we might be able to we'll also debate with people, and we'll talk to them about their beliefs and what they've discovered and everything else, which is great opportunity to ask questions of some of these great minds. But we also run workshops like personal statement writing workshops, where we will teach you the art of writing a personal statement. As I say, I've read many hundreds of statements in my time, and have helped, in many cases, helped students write them as well when I was working for a school. So we know what we're doing, and very capable of helping students write a personal statement, which will hopefully be a lot of preparation there for the next stage of your journey, of your academic journey. So some practical stuff there that's actually not going beyond the classroom and beyond the other excursions, but just really preparing you so you know what to expect when you apply to university. Okay. So that's the bulk of the stuff with the residential course. I'm sure there'll be lots of chance for questions, things afterwards, but I'll touch on the online program, and then we'll probably get into some of the bit more detail about some of these courses. But we are running online this year, which was very popular, very effective. The thing with our online program is we've wanted to make sure that whatever we do, we don't compromise on our core aims. So we offer quality programs, which are, as I say, inspirational. That has to be the same this time when we do it online. Just because a student is sat behind a computer doesn't mean they can't be inspired and learn something and feel like they've gained a lot in the week. Well, these are 1 week courses. The residential programs are all 2 weeks, but these are 1 week. The reason for that is very simple. 1 week is just, I think 2 weeks is probably too long for online. I'm sure everyone has done lots and lots of online learning over the last year or so. So we don't want to keep too much of your time. But also, there are certain things we're not doing, so we're not taking you off to London and other activities, so we can cram in a bit more in the 1 week. But I'll give you the list of subjects in just a moment. But these are where we have you will get given most of it's very, very similar content to what we would deliver in the residential programs. For many of our subjects, that doesn't need to change too much. So, for example, politics and international relations courses can still have the same debates and same discussions. You can go away and do research. We'll teach you how to research. You can have all of that, but not in the online environment. What you would then do is you would then come back. You would have periods each day where you come back and present some of your ideas and talk to your class. We might ask students to actually do as I'm doing now and share a screen and give a presentation through Microsoft Teams, and then it can be discussed with their classmates. They'll submit work online, so you submit work and it'll get marked by the teacher and then sent back to you. And then obviously there's the live lessons, so lots of those where the teacher will actually give a lesson and plenty of opportunity there for interaction, debate. So with that, we do expect students to have their cameras off and cameras on, sorry, and being able to chip in and talk to the teacher. Do everything they can to actually have the same level of interaction that you would get in the classroom. So that's what we've aimed for with the online programs. We're also running these one-to-one research courses, which are where if you something like the extended project or the extended essay, if you do the IB, where you actually want to produce maybe like a mini dissertation or an extended essay, and you want to go away and research it. So there's less personal teaching going on there, but it does run for more weeks. So you can run that for as long as you like. It's just your project with your teacher. So we would assign you a teacher. And the idea with that is from start to finish, you research and produce a paper. Really good experience if you can say you've done that, but when going to applying to university, that's really well looked on. It's why things like the extended project and the extended essay are so highly regarded at universities, because it is actually demonstrating to an admissions tutor that the student knows how to write academically and produce papers of the standard and size that's needed at university. Here's some of the courses here's the courses that we list for these. These are the 16, 18, 19, 16, 17, 18 courses that we run. There are a couple additional ones for those that are 15. You can also join these if you ask us. I'm sure that's also fine. But these are the main courses that we're running for the online program. So you can see we've taken these, the key popular ones for residential courses and made them online. So we've still got the science in there. We've got things like the chemistry and the medicine in there, the physics, neuroscience, some of those key courses there, which are again very popular. It does mean that you won't, you obviously can't sit in a lab and do experiments like you would be able to in residential. But what we've done is mitigated that by saying, well, actually, let's look through some of the theory about these, about some of the lab work and actually how it works. There's loads of things we can share, loads of resources we can share. I mean, some of our teachers we've got are people that actually worked on the vaccines, the COVID vaccines. So we've got some fantastic teachers, and as you know, the UK has come up with two vaccines. So we have a lot of people on hand and who will be able to talk to you and teach you about some of these things. So having these, so we have great contacts and great teachers who will deliver some of these lessons and deliver some of the workshops. So if you want to know any more about any of these individual ones, then just ask me and I can give you some guidance, or come to us another time and we can guide you through. But what we've done here is taken the courses which we believe are the most popular and put them online. Hey, this is an example timetable of what you get with online. So we've got two hemispheres there. So these are the UK times. It's all given in UK time. I assume you would choose Eastern Hemisphere, unless you really want to be up very, very late. But you've got the Eastern Hemisphere is probably the one you would choose. And then you can see there that we have you have a bit of a kickstart each day with something. Generally that might be, well, in 2020 that started with some things like a welcome event, but then there might be some brain teasers and some question and answers and various activities that we did. Then we've got the live lessons. So various things, that's actually you go off into your classroom and have the live lesson. Guided study. So guided study is where you're given activity. So a bit like you would in a normal class where you're given work to do, but the teacher is then just overseeing it. Well, it's the same as that. You're given some work and the teacher's on hand and can guide you through some of that work. So they'll be on hand, dipping in and out and being able to talk to you. So that's the guided study, and research and homework and things will take place. Obviously, some people at that time might be having lunch and whatever else, so that's a good time to step away from the computer and have a break. Then back to the live lesson, which is where you'll pull all the information you've learned and talked about, and then do some more work with your classmates on a live session. Then there's loads of other things we can have going on. So these are just examples where we've got networking with other students, talk from medical doctor, guest lecture on climate change, looking at university applications, workshops on personal statements, virtual tours. So lots and lots of things to keep you busy there. And they did get very good feedback last year. This was actually some of the things like the university workshops was some of the things that people really liked the most. They found that incredibly useful. So these aren't essential for you to take part in, but very much encouraged. And it doesn't matter what subject you've chosen, or even if you're doing the one-to-one sessions that I talked about, you can join in on these extra sessions at the end of the day. So hopefully lots of stuff to keep you busy and keep you occupied there. And of course, if you were to join and you felt that there was something you really wanted to learn, well, we're planning all these things now. So let us know if there's something you really want. There's no harm in saying, actually, I've just joined an online course for whatever date, and would like to particularly like to focus on this. Just let us know. We can't make any promises, but we'll see what we can do. Bearing in mind we're planning it all right now. So that's some stuff from me. I think what I will do is, before I just go to video, I know I've kind of raced through a few things, but I would be really keen to know, are there any sort of subject areas which people would like to discuss a bit more or go into a bit more depth? I don't know if that's useful for anybody.
Dan, there are few questions.
Yeah.
Is it possible to show us a sample timetable for the courses, some courses, not only online, the other one?
Yes, should be fine. If I just need to just give me a moment to bring that up on the screen, but that should be fine. So if you just bear with me for a few minutes. But the timetable is, broadly speaking, just what students will do in the morning is they have their breakfast, and in fact it's a really similar structure to what you saw just then. So it probably, what you'll find is just it repeats itself really. So you've got a lesson in the morning, then you have your lunch, then your other lesson in the afternoon, then a workshop, and the workshop will either be your workshop that you've chosen, or it would be some other kind of activity like a debate or guest speaker. And then after that, that's where throughout the early evening and after dinner as well, there are other activities and games and things. Obviously in the UK, you've got a very long evenings. The sun doesn't set for till much later in the summer.
The question is, what an engineering student do in the engineering program in 2 weeks?
Bear with me, I can get that for you. So if you just hang on a minute or two, I can get that back for you. Are there any other questions while I just get that going?
Yeah. Also, there is another question. She wants to join. She hasn't decided yet what subject to study at the university, medicine or law. So she's asking if she can join medicine program and then law program. It's not possible.
I mean, that would be, if you did that, that would be a 4-week program, unless it's online. Did you say it was online?
No.
In person. Yeah, so that would be a 4 weeks. You'll do medicine for 2 weeks and then law for 2 weeks, or vice versa. So,
to be honest, students are not likely to do online courses. But if they have to, of course. But
I understand. It has been yes, of course, it has been. It's a tricky one really, because it's people have probably done so much online activity that they really are they are a bit sick of it. Right. Let me just bring up my engineering program. So this does take a few minutes to do it. So I think I won't be able to do it for every subject we've got, but certainly for some of them.
Also, there is another question for medicine course.
Okay, let me show you engineering and medicine, and then I think what we can do is I'll show you those once I'm into the folder. It's much easier to show you them. What I'm doing is just going to screen share the guide, the study guide, which actually has quite a lot of stuff in there. So I can't send that to you because that's obviously giving away all our information about what you would get. But I will share the study guide with you, and hopefully that will give you some information about the what you'll actually learn. So just bear with me 1 second while I get it. So, okay. Sorry about this. There's a timetable which I just can't remember all of the stuff to do with engineering, but it will be useful if people know the engineering and know their engineering and what's interested. I think it's worth me just, rather than kind of making something up, actually show you the course guide itself and show you what's going to be taught. So I'm going to resume share now. If you have a look here, this is our course guide. So if we have a look down, what we've got here is so there's a sample timetable. There you go. Hopefully that's useful for you. So I'll keep that on just for a couple of minutes.
If anyone, larger?
Can I make it larger? Possibly. Is that okay? Can you see that?
I
Excellent.
believe so. Yeah.
So that's an example of what we'll get. So this is I mean this is still subject to change. Some stuff here may change, but broadly speaking, that's what you'll get for the engineering preparation. So hopefully that's useful for you. And then what I'll do is I'm just going to get up the I'll keep that on for a minute just while I get up the same one for medicine. So we've got all of these things kept hidden away in different files, and it always takes a moment or two to get them. But hopefully that's useful just to see exactly what's being taught.
Do they have to give a test before they enroll, because calculus, etc.?
So we have an English test. You can do an English test, but you don't have to. We don't actually make that as a requirement. What we do with the English test is just say, if you feel like you're not sure about your English level, then just let us know and we can put you in for a test. So different format on this one, but this is what's discussed on the medical school preparation course. So so hopefully you can see there that you've got there's a whole range of things. So the BMAT is obviously the test, the medical exam that you'll need. So some practice papers for that. But then there's all sorts of stuff there that's actually looking at practical skills as well. So you can see there's several practical skills days. It's a mixture of. The idea is not to make you an expert doctor straight away. That's not possible. What we're trying to do is give you a sense of what a medical degree is like, and give you a sense so you can go thinking, okay, I know what that's like and I know what to expect. You'll also get some good subject knowledge, but a lot of it's also saying, look, go away. These are the other things you might want to research and learn about. So the medical school preparation really is about preparing you to go for a medical school admission. So it's because it's hard. It's very hard to get into, especially the UK. I think many across the world, it's very hard to get into medical school. So that's why these sort of courses can be very useful.
Medical school admissions require interviews as well.
Yeah.
Do you also support how to prepare for these interviews?
Yeah. So if you have a look, I think it's lesson 19 there is interviews, preparation and practice. So
if you make it larger, we can see it.
Sorry, yes. Sorry, Sardata. Right. Is that better?
Yeah, it is fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if you have a look down there, so there's that lesson, there's the 19th one there, there's interviews, preparation and practice. So that's all fine. If I mean, I'll say this to the ATEC team as well. So if you do have particular requests for any of these subjects, just let me know. We can send you screenshots of this. That's not a problem. And in fact, a lot of this is on the website. But because the website's so big, one of the challenges with any summer program, I think, is when you have such a big website, what information do we put on without just completely swamping the people browsing it? So always do ask if there's something like this that you need to know. we can always send that to you. But hopefully that's useful to see those and what's being given. But you're absolutely right. The interview process is key, and getting some practice and techniques on how to do that is essential.
Do you take them into a medical school or do practice in a hospital? Do you do such activities?
So we're not able to. I think you can get into actual. It's very hard to get into an actual hospital, especially these days. But yeah, one of the issues is taking a group into a hospital and actually getting anything of value other than just seeing waiting rooms is quite difficult. So what I'd say is that so we don't do that. We get the doctors in, so we get actual medical students in, and we do some lab work and practical skills stuff. But we don't go and see it at a hospital. Of course, there's nothing stopping you from just breaking your leg and then a hospital experience. But we don't do it as part of the course.
Yeah. Well, there's another great question because I wonder how you do it. I think she is interested in art and architecture course. How you manage it? How I mean, do they do a project? Do they work on a project? Because 2 weeks is short, but especially art and design students want to see what they have done, or parents.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things there where you will actually there's a couple of points with that where what we'll do is we'll talk to you about art and architecture. I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment. I'll bring the screen back in a second, but yes, so we'll start. So art and architecture, we'll talk about the Oxford's art and architecture. So that's where we focus on the stuff that's in Oxford. So you look at what the designs are and the way that Oxford has been built, essentially, because I don't know if you realize Oxford is known as the city of spires, and there's this kind of lots and lots of particular types of architecture and loads of art. So we go and see museums and galleries. Yes, you have a chance to do some of your own, but it's not quite the same as doing a project. The art and architecture is the workshop that we. It's not really an art class as such as it's more like a workshop. So you get to do some of your own art, but it's not like a full art, an art subject, if that makes sense. It's focusing. It's one of the workshops that just focuses each afternoon on Oxford's own art and architecture and getting to know some of that side of things.
So they don't do any painting or cutting?
They do. There is some practical stuff, but I don't think it's the case. It's not like the whole project is then doing your own piece. So a lot of these projects we have something on the side. So you learn the theory and then do the practice on the side.
Yeah, and some, not some, all the architecture bachelor's course schools require portfolio. Is it a good timing to come and attend your courses?
I would. I mean, if you've got it depends when you're. Yeah, so what I would do is use the people that are around, because we're going to have people that actually will be looking at personal statements and doing the admissions. So if you've got a portfolio, you don't have to bring the whole thing, because that's probably a very big thing to bring. But get photos of your work. Come ready to talk to admissions tutors, because it's not just the stuff you'll be doing while you're with us. But remember, this is also a chance to meet people who are doing this stuff in Oxford, and meet admissions tutors and meet people who know what they're talking about. So come with a load of photos of your portfolio and discuss it and get some guidance. That would be my advice for how to make the best of a summer school.
Okay. What I'll do is I will make notes who asked program information about medicine and architecture.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will share program information with them by email.
Yeah.
I just took my note. If there's anybody who wants to ask any specific subject, please feel free to ask or send us a message. We will share the full program information with you by email. So you want to show us a video now?
I'd love to show you a video. Yeah, well, I have to, really, because we spent so long making this thing that it's obviously very important for us to show it. We're very proud of it. So I'm just going to show you this. Yeah, show you this video very quickly. So just bear with me. There's always a slightly awkward moment of having to actually click on and share the screen, but hopefully this will work. Right. Share.
Dan, we can't hear you.
Of course, yes, I followed your instructions. I muted myself. So, yeah, let me just so, yeah, that was a. Oh, hang on, my video is still playing on mine, but presumably it's not yours. There we go.
Okay. What about the certificates given? Can the students use them when they make applications to top universities around the world? How they can use them?
Well, so the certificates are they don't have credits attached to them, if that's what you mean. So they're not a certificate that can get credits for other courses. But what they do, I mean, they are. So they say where you've studied. That's the key thing. So a lot of people like having the name that name of the campus on their certificate and says the course. But really, this is about. I mean, the certificate is much more about just honouring what you've done. The certificate itself won't guarantee you a place into university. What instead will help with that is all the preparation that we've given you. So the certificate is much more just marking your achievements over the
maybe you have had an experience. Some of your students may take references from the tutors.
We have done that. In fact, we do give every student gets a report card. So you'll get a report, you'll get your own personalized feedback and report from your teacher. And then and then that can obviously be used. We have had students come back to us and ask for references before, but yeah, that's fine. So it's but certainly the report card is quite a useful thing to have with you.
Okay, because teacher references are much helpful.
Definitely. I mean, when you apply to, so there's a few things there. When you apply to UK university, you'll have to give a teacher reference. But actually, most UK universities expect a teacher reference from a teacher at your school, so somebody that's actually been teaching you long term. So you probably wouldn't want to put down one of our tutors if they've only known you for 2 weeks. It gives a lot more weight to your application if you can put down one of your teachers that has been teaching you for a long time. That's the best guidance really for when you apply to a university. But of course, the report card is very useful, and and also use the time while you're at ORA to get contacts. I mean, you never know. Some teachers just say, yeah, if you want to put me down as a reference, here's my details. So make friends with the teachers, get to know them. They can be useful contacts later on.
Yeah, there's another question. Are the courses taught by current Oxford tutors?
Yeah, a lot of them. Not every tutor is an Oxbridge tutor. That's not by design. That's just because what we do, as I said before, our aim is to find teachers that can teach and also have the subject knowledge. The vast majority are actually people that are teachers in Oxford, or just another top university. But you have to remember that we don't exclude people who are not teaching at Oxbridge, because we've had teachers before from places like Warwick and Reading and Exeter and some really good universities that we say, well, actually, I don't want to not be taught by them just because they're not at Oxbridge. They're really good teachers. So yeah, so most of them will be Oxford just on the basis that they live in Oxford.
What about COVID precautions? There's another question. How will be the rooms or the dining halls or the other management?
Firstly, I'll say we've got a link on the website. When you go to our homepage, the very, very top bar of the homepage has a link to the COVID policy. So check that from time to time. But currently, as it stands, what we're going to be saying is single rooms. I think some people are requesting to share if they've already come from a family, if you're with a family already, that you know, siblings, whatever. But otherwise, it's almost certainly going to be single rooms. And then the things like there's just additional cleaning going on, and there'll probably be one-way systems around the halls. But what we don't want to do is actually do anything that's so restrictive that makes the program not very enjoyable. So we want to do what's obviously what the university has already put in place. So the Oxford University by that point will have already got a lot of systems in place that make everything safe. So we'll be going into the university and following what they've already been doing. But the other thing to remember is that the UK hope to have restrictions eased by the end of June, which is in time for our summer programs, because of our vaccines that have been rolled out en masse. I mean, most adults. So by that point, the question is if you can come into the UK, I don't know on what basis the government will be welcoming people in. We're due to find out more from the government about that. But it might be that you'd need to get a negative test result. Certainly testing is readily available in the UK. I mean, I do my own tests at home quite frequently. So we have all sorts of ways of making sure that you can be tested. So from my understanding, the government don't particularly want to be having too many restrictions in place by the summer if they can at all avoid it. And we will have vaccinated the majority by the time we get to the summer. So we're hopeful, but we'll follow the guidance that Oxford University have already put in place. That's probably the best answer to your question. Is if it's good enough for Oxford University, it's good enough for us.
Okay, thank you very much, Dan. Do you want to add some notes?
So yeah, I mean, there's loads of stuff to say here, but I think we've got, I would say just keep an eye out on the website for all our updates regarding COVID. We will tell everyone, and we'll be in constant communication with the agents as well. So with ATEC about that, make sure that you know everything that's going on. But yeah, as far as we're planned, we're going ahead this summer.